They had the opportunity to put it to bed and they didn't.
And they could have put them 5 goals up.
And then the entries late. We'll celebrate Collingwood, and we're going to talk about Collingwood for the next couple of weeks because they're going in on the wave of the most unbelievable momentum. But that was a butchering of the highest order.
Everything that is great in the game is encapsulated in what Collingwood just did. And everything that will break your heart as a football supporter forever is what Carlton just did then.
They were plus 53 contested ball. 53. So they did a lot right, but in the end, that's not going to make anyone feel great about it because they gave up 8 points that they'd earned for 95% of the last 2 games and then just weren't able to get over the line.
If you're a Carlton fan, you're not going to like this because towards the end especially... Yeah, and look, history, we said this during the last quarter, we're sitting there watching it, history says Collingwood win because this is what Collingwood have been doing for 3 months, coming from nowhere when no one gives them a chance. So Cox gets it started, and we can talk through the positives here because they have it in their DNA now that they know no way other way than to keep coming. So the heroics of Elliott were not just the final goal. This goal here put them within 11 points. And then they had a period of... Carlton had a period where they denied them
a couple of contests from Maynard when it really needed to happen.
Went to Curnow, took responsibility for Curnow. McCreary from the boundary was just off the charts. 5 points the margin. Then, with 1:42 to go, the Elliott kick, which was put him in front. Free kick.
Maybe.
Screaming from the rooftops here for the free kick. Then they go... The play was third and short, just outside 50.
They had 2 goes at it, Gaz. So you have 1 go there to get it back. Well, you only needed a point from that situation. So you had 1 go there and you weren't able to.
You've got to burn time at this stage, right? So here's the winning goal. This was with 1:42 on the clock. So they had 1 opportunity. Hopefully we'll get to see the other opportunity where Durden had the ball in there.
Inside 50.
What a goal from Jamie Elliott. And look, we've got another game to get to. We're going to get over there.
This is it.
There he
Mackay
is.
in the pocket.
Mackay's short in the pocket. At that stage, it was a solitary point they needed. The draw would have done and they would have played finals footy.
So 2 weeks in a row, they slaughtered it. They slaughtered it, Gaz. So we'll celebrate the Collingwood. We will.
We won't, because we haven't got much time.
There's a lot of what if in Carlton's season, but I mean, and it's going to feel really wasted for them now. But they've definitely taken great strides this year, and this is not the time because Carlton fans aren't going to feel that. But
I think that's
they're definitely coming.
That'll be a debate that rages. But right now, this Collingwood side have gone from 17th on the ladder to a double chance at a premiership in Craig McRae's first year as a senior coach. That is the celebration, and then there is the devastation. So that is just where it sits right now.
In the end of the day, your fortunes are dictated and decided by your leaders. And I think Carlton will sit back at the end of when the dust settles tonight and tomorrow and through a pre-season, and they'll look at those behind the ball tonight. Now, some have got stripes on their shoulders and some haven't. But we put the acid on Jacob Weitering during the week to lead, to actually influence a game when it's needed most, given they coughed up a lead last week. So let's have a look at that final play, that all-important play that really hurt. Now, Charlie Curnow's a leader, right? 2 minutes to go on the clock. Just kick it to Durden. Take another 30 seconds off the clock. But behind the ball, they're not too bad, but they're one-on-one. Why isn't there an extra there for support, holding 100 metres out the back, a la Stephen May? But where are the eyes? Where's the voice and direction? Weitering organising. Saad organising. Elliott is now by himself. Ginnivan is now out the back in a heartbeat. They go down the corridor, which they did all in the last quarter. And all of a sudden, Weitering doesn't even locate Elliott because he has no trust in anyone rolling in behind, which is the setup. And Elliott runs in, and all credit to him. He kicks the goal. Unbelievable finish. Well done, Collingwood. Well done, Jamie Elliott. Awesome. But there is no way in the world it should have been so disorganised behind the ball like that. They should have had 1 extra, 2 extra, 3 extra, communication. Weitering should be saying, I'm staying back. You've got my man. Pull a wingman back. Give up something in the forward half of the ground because you didn't need to score. So that's lost on instruction, on not having your head in the game when you're a senior core player. They play in finals if he gets that play right. It's as simple as that. It was a stop play. They had time to set it up. They had time to orchestrate it. And to me, that just shows the gap in the leadership there versus the gap in the leadership at Collingwood on the field.
It's a great point. Your fullback should be like a soccer goalkeeper, yelling at everybody to get in position. I mean, if that was Stephen May, what do you think Stephen May would be doing at Melbourne? He'd be screaming at everyone to get close to their man, get organised, get set up.
And so would Salem, and so would the midfielders.
Geelong would be doing it. Yeah, and we've seen Collingwood. We've shown Pendlebury and Sidebottom get it done all year.
I don't know how many Carlton fans are daring to watch that, but that's a hard watch, isn't it?
Well, so much went right for them through the course of the year. They've had a wonderful year in terms of growth.
And even today,
this is a tough one.
8 goals in that third quarter to come back and
it was such a powerful third quarter. It was a dominant third quarter football. It was as dominant a third quarter as we've seen in so long, Kingy. Like, it was phenomenal. Yeah,
I just cut some of the contest work. You know, and their ability to win ball, to go to those tools in the forward line. Great reference points. Charlie Curnow taking marks. You've got Harry Mackay competing, ball hitting deck. All sorts of problems that were amongst the Collingwood back six, which have been brilliant all year. We haven't seen them rattled like this for 30 minutes. So just take in what the key forwards are doing there. They're marking it at this stage and they're pack marking it. Conversion was big. But look at those numbers there. Contested possession in Carlton's forward 50. So normally you're outnumbered by the opposition in their defensive 50. To be break even is a huge result. To be plus 11 in a quarter of football are numbers they haven't seen. Absolutely haven't seen. I think it was 17-6 in terms of winning contests. So this is why when Craig McRae says we shouldn't have won the game, they shouldn't have even been close. Yeah. But the facts are they just didn't finish the deal. They just didn't stay diligent. But it does highlight the power that Carlton have for 2023 and beyond. But there's a long way to go before they get back here.
Yeah, that's right. And probably the only slight knock is they were so dominant around the clearance and contested ball. We've spoken about it most of the year, King. They've relied on that part of their game, and if they can now add that element to be able to score off turnover and challenge teams a bit more off turnover, like Collingwood do, we know that's probably the more sustainable model long term. That'll hold them in good stead. But as we said, it was a dominant third quarter, and they still had the every opportunity, which we'll get to in the fourth quarter, just couldn't finish it.
Well, how did Collingwood do it in the last quarter?
Well, it's the same story we've seen all year. They took the game on through the corridor.
They take risks. Yeah. They take risks. It's situational play. You know where the ball's going. It's going through the corridor. This is why it's so hard to stop, because you don't really have to win a lot of contests to score playing this way. They found free targets and they played with dare. Anytime they can go through the middle, they took the chance. They took the risk. Little kicks, short kicks. If Carlton don't want to tease up or take those metres, and then you really only have to win 1 or 2 contests forward of the ball, and you're scoring. So full credit to Collingwood to play that way, and Carlton didn't really take the collar off them.
And you could see in that clip, Carlton didn't know whether to sag back because they presumed Collingwood were going to bomb it in long, or whether they pressed up and exposed themselves deep. Look how Collingwood stretched the field. Look how far back their forwards are to open the corridor. So that's when we talk about it's not luck. There's science in this. Their forwards are in the goal square. So that creates that whole vacuum of space in through the corridor for them to take those risks. Then they were challenging them. And when they did have a kick long, they were going straight to centre-half forward. It wasn't wide. It was on, and it really challenges you as a defence. There's not many options you can do.
They took their opportunities. But look, you just pay credit to both sides for each quarter. But this is why it's a different version. This is why it's a different Pies in 2022. And I won't hear of a building profile. OK, the lists they all build, but it's a different mode. It's through the corridor when they have to. It's compete outside of that and see where it finds you at three-quarter time. It's almost have a go, see if you can get us. What's the score at three-quarter time? Let's go.
And that's the unlosable. I mean, let's be honest. They lost the unlosable today, Carlton. They're the numbers for the whole game. I mean, that is off the charts. It's harder to lose than to win when you play with those sorts of numbers inside. Going inside 50 contested ball. So. They'll be absolutely heartbroken, and Michael Voss absolutely is heartbroken because they didn't do much wrong. It was such a good performance, but in the end, it's the 4 points that matter. And it was all in front of 88,000 at the MCG. Ooh. What a crowd, what an atmosphere, and there was no consolation at all to Michael Voss.
We didn't want this season to end. We feel like we had more in us. Clearly when we're in the position that we want to play finals footy, and we've fought pretty hard as a footy club for a long period of time to get us back into a place like that. So they'll feel that. We've got a lot to like out of that game, but in the end, when it came down to key moments, we couldn't get it done, and that's going to hurt for a bit.
In the 8 all year till the end.
That's it. Last team to do that was Carlton in 1977. Very rarely happens. And Michael Voss spoke about it there, and he blew it. And we're just going to take a look at where they did blow their chances, because we spoke about their third quarter dominance. And then in the fourth quarter, they still had 20 inside 50s to 11. So you're already 4 goals up. and then you still lose from there. They kicked 0 goals 6 in the last quarter. Charlie Curnow there just needed to go back, take his 30 seconds. Lockie O'Brien had one on short. Curnow again. So Collingwood only had 11 entries for the 5 goals won, and we saw what they did in the fourth quarter. But Carlton still should have iced the game. So even Doherty, kicking it out of bounds on the full when they're up by 5 points instead of getting a stoppage. Hit Harry Mackay short. Corey Durden, instead he kicks it to no man's land. They had more than enough opportunities. This one's going to hurt them for a long time. I'm still bullish that it's going to hold them in good stead. We do speak about it, and we've done it in the past, King. Every year there's at least one team that jumped from outside the 8 into the top 4. You don't have to necessarily play finals to get in that opportunity. Collingwood didn't play finals last year. The Blues can jump pretty quickly as long as they learn from their mistakes in the last couple of weeks in particular.